Do you buy that? Who would have thought? At his concert in Thailand, Jackson Wang put on a haunting drowning act. He was seen struggling desperately inside a water tank, his fists bloodied from slamming against the glass, yet unable to escape. It sent chills down the spines of everyone watching, sparking a single haunting thought. Isn't this exactly what Kimi Qiao Yu Menglong went through? But this time, it's more than just a metaphor. Netizens have just unearthed a map of Kimi's death march during his final days, a grueling route that zigzagged across 12 different cities. The locations didn't look like a concert tour at all. They looked like a meticulously planned physical endurance test. Add to that the shocking rumors of 180 million in unpaid wages, and what you see is a total harvesting of a person from their body to their wealth. While the biggest stars in the industry choose to remain silent, why is it a humble Siba Moshi street vendor who's brave enough to expose it all? Today, we're digging into the truth behind this deadly route, starting with Jackson Wang's haunting performance. Hey guys, Sean here. I'm finally back. After all that drama with my laptop crashing and almost losing every single file, I'm not gonna lie, there was a moment where I thought, is this a sign to just call it quits? Or is it a chance to start fresh? But anyway, here I am. How have you guys been? I hope you're hanging in there, because what we're diving into today is pretty heavy. Sometimes what looks like just a performance is actually hiding something much darker. And remember, stay sharp, because you never know how deep this hole goes. Something just happened in the entertainment world that has everyone's skin crawling. If you caught Jackson Wang's show in Bangkok, you were probably floored by his stunning yet incredibly eerie exit from the stage. This wasn't just some ordinary performance. Out of nowhere, the massive LED screens transformed into a giant water tank. Jackson plunged right in, his movements syncing so perfectly with the visuals that it looked like he was literally diving into the deep. And what was he doing inside that water? He was thrashing. He slammed his fists against the tank walls over and over until his knuckles were literally bleeding. Blood began to cloud the water, staining the entire screen crimson, yet he still couldn't break free. Finally, he slowly collapsed and vanished into the depths. To the fans watching live, it looked like a masterpiece of performance art. It was undeniably breathtaking, but online, a different story started to blow up. After watching the replays, more and more people were left with one haunting thought. Isn't this exactly what happened to Kimi Qiao, Yu Menglong? Some netizens went as far as saying, that's literally a picture of you. It raises the question, is this a reenactment of a crime scene? Is this Jackson Wang's way of telling us a truth that simply can't be said out loud? Why is everyone linking Jackson Wang's drowning act to Yu Menglong and Kimi Qiao? Beyond just the visual resemblance, the real reason goes much deeper. They share a history that is eerily similar. Why did Jackson Wang suddenly drop off the face of the earth for the past 2 years? In a 2024 interview, he finally came clean about it. He's been struggling with depression. He was scammed by one of his closest, most trusted friends, losing nearly half of his entire net worth. Back in 2022, this friend came to him claiming a family crisis. Without a second thought, Jackson lent him 40% of his life savings. As it turned out, the so-called crisis was a total fabrication. The guy vanished into thin air the moment he got the money. Fans estimate the amount to be around $4.1 million. The person behind the scam is likely his former manager, Wang Kaiyu, someone who used to be inseparable from him. When Wang Kaiyu vanished, he didn't just run with the cash. He even wiped his name clean from the studio's shareholder records, leaving no trace behind. Yu Menglong went through something eerily similar. An insider from the production team leaked that one of Yu's most trusted friends, Gao Taiyu, once approached him with an investment deal. He pitched it as a low-risk, high-return opportunity, even promising that the principal and interest would be paid back in no time, out of a sense of loyalty. On top of that, after hearing rumors that Gao Taiyu had high-level relatives at Douyin backing him up, Yu ended up lending him $275,000. And the result? The moment Gao Taiyu got his hands on the money, his lifestyle took a massive turn. He was suddenly driving luxury cars and living in a villa. Meanwhile, the investment project he promised showed absolutely no progress at all. When Yu Menglong tried to collect the debt, Gao Taiyu completely turned on him and denied everything, leaving Yu with no choice but to take him to court. Now, Gao Taiyu has become a prime target for a massive online boycott. If you look at the scripts of these two men's lives, the parallels are chilling. Both found fame at a young age, both were known for their genuine kindness, and in the end, both were ruthlessly stabbed in the back financially by the people they trusted most, be it a manager or a best friend. That's why when Jackson Wang was thrashing desperately inside that sealed water tank in Bangkok, pounding the glass until his knuckles bled, yet still unable to break free, it felt like so much more than just a performance. In the end, they were all ruthlessly stabbed in the back financially by those they trusted most, whether it was their own managers or their closest friends. Today, we aren't just diving into Jackson Wang's metaphors. We're going to take a hard look at some compelling evidence regarding the mistreatment of Yu Menglong, details that netizens have only just begun to uncover in full. This is the tour map for the stage play Parasite, which starred Yu Menglong. Netizens have dubbed it the Death March map, and the logic hidden behind it is far more sinister than you could imagine. Let's rewind to 2024. Yu Menglong took on a lead role in the play Parasite. Originally, the part belonged to Ma Tianyu, but in a shocking twist, Yu replaced him in 2024 despite Ma having a completely clear schedule. In fact, 2 other leads were replaced at the exact same time. But here's the kicker. By 2025, Yu was out and the role was handed back to Ma Tianyu. That 1-year gap feels like it was meticulously planned just for Yu Menglong to fill a hole. Recently, sharp-eyed netizens mapped out Yu's 2024 tour route. The moment it surfaced, industry insiders were left absolutely stunned. Everyone knows that for a standard commercial tour, routes are designed to be efficient, usually following a circular path or moving between neighboring cities to save on costs and energy. For instance, if you perform in Shanghai, you'd naturally head to Suzhou next, then Hangzhou, right? But Yu Menglong's route was a different story. Netizens discovered that he was constantly zigzagging between Shanxi, Hebei, Shandong, and Henan. He was being hauled from the northeast all the way back to central China, only to be yanked over to East China again. It made absolutely no sense. The map shows a blatant back-and-forth jumping pattern that is a logistical nightmare and completely unheard of in professional business travel. The tour covered 12 cities, but he only did 2 shows in each one. What does this actually mean? It means the moment the artist lands, he has to set up the stage, rehearse, and perform, only to pack up immediately and rush to the next distant city. It's a calculated way to physically strip him of any deep sleep or downtime, forcing his body into a state of chronic, high-stress fatigue. Netizens have hit the nail on the head, pointing out that this was a meticulously designed wear and tear test. The chaotic and grueling travel schedule was intentionally rigged to drain his stamina, destroy his health, and ultimately break his mental state. This setup served another, more calculated purpose: burning through cash. Anyone with a background in finance knows that frequent, long-haul, cross-provincial travel racks up astronomical transportation and lodging costs. By staying in each city for such a short window, it becomes impossible to offset those expenses through ticket sales. From a financial standpoint, this doesn't look like a strategy to generate profit. It looks like a deliberate attempt to drain assets. This brings us to a shocking turning point. November 1st, 2024. On that day, Yu Menglong's Qmeng studio in Shanghai was officially dissolved. Netizens suggest that this high-cost tour was likely a final aggressive liquidation of his studio's cash flow. By using exorbitant tour expenses to offset ticket revenue, they could zero out the books or effectively siphon the money away. It was, in every sense, a pre-planned financial harvest. Taking it a step further, netizens pointed out that the tour spanned exactly 12 cities. In traditional Chinese culture, the number 12 represents the 12 earthly branches, symbolizing a complete cycle. The route mapped out by fans shows a multi-angled radiation network stretching across the northeast and the central plains. The way these paths constantly crisscross at a central point has been described by some as a binding formation. It kept the artist in a state of perpetual agitation, never allowing him to ground himself. The final line of this web was drawn in Shanghai, where the endpoint coincided exactly with the dissolution of his studio. The moment he finished those 12 cities and completed the web, his economic fortress collapsed. Netizens sighed in disbelief, noting that the most haunting part of this map is how it symbolizes the destruction of a circle. While most people seek wholeness and completion, he was forced to walk a path of tangled threads. If the tour was a form of physical torture, then the economic exploitation was likely the final straw that broke him. Recent rumors swirling online suggest that Yu Menglong is owed a staggering $25 million in unpaid wages by Tianyu Media. While that figure sounds outrageous, it starts to make sense when you look at the leaks provided by netizens. According to these leaks, Yu's revenue split was beyond absurd. Tianyu pocketed 90%, leaving him with a measly 10% to cover his living expenses. And if you think that 10% was his take-home pay, think again. Reports claim that even advertising and promotion costs, expenses that the company is legally supposed to cover, were deducted directly from his tiny 10% share. With this in mind, it's not hard to see why Yu Menglong once admitted on the variety show Shine Super Brothers that he wanted to treat his friends to a meal, but simply couldn't afford it. At the time, everyone probably thought he was just joking, but looking back now, the expression on his face is truly heartbreaking. This brings us to two specific names, Du Qiang and He Xiaojing. Both served as Yu Menglong's managers, but it was He Xiaojing, a key executive at Tianyu Media, who handled his day-to-day affairs. In reality, everything we've discussed so far is just the tip of the iceberg, the least of the tragedies that befell Yu Menglong. Chilling reports circulating online suggest that he had been under someone's control and subjected to extreme mistreatment for a long time, until finally, in September of this year, his life came to a mysterious and unexplained end. Although authorities ruled his death an alcohol-related accident and officially cleared the case of any foul play, public outrage online tells a different story. The anger of netizens has been squarely aimed at certain individuals, specifically actress Tian Heirong and screenwriter Jin Qi, who are being accused of involvement. Recently, YouTuber Bei Yi took to their channel to reveal a tarot reading that analyzed the ultimate fate of both Tian Heirong and Jin Qi. The tarot analysis suggests that the empire of power built by Tian Heirong, which once seemed indestructible, is now in an irreversible state of collapse. The fantasies that once fueled her ambitions are peeling away layer by layer. As her assets are frozen, she will likely be forced to relinquish her grip on power, left with no choice but to watch with her own eyes as everything she worked for crumbles into nothingness. This time, she can no longer talk her way out of it. The social protection she once relied on has long since vanished in the storm. Now, she is left to stand alone, facing both the full force of the law and the unrelenting judgment of public opinion. As for Jin Qi's fate, the outcome is far more pathetic. He has been reduced to nothing more than a discarded pawn. The power circle he once called home has severed all ties with him to protect their core interests. In their eyes, he serves only one remaining purpose: to be the sacrificial lamb. Is greater than. In the tarot reading, the death card appeared, signaling the absolute end of his old identity. Under suffocatingly tight surveillance, every desperate attempt he makes to evade punishment looks pathetic and entirely in vain. While this might be a metaphysical interpretation, it actually aligns perfectly with the logic behind many high-profile criminal cases. When a massive empire is on the brink of collapse, someone always has to be sacrificed to shoulder all the sins. Yet, amidst this shadow play of power, greed, and betrayal, what truly moves me the most is the reaction of ordinary people. Over the past few days, a photo has been going viral online that moved me to tears the moment I saw it. It shows a humble street vendor selling sanjiao siba, triangular sticky rice cakes, who had placed a small portrait of Yu Menglong right there on his stall. Beneath this photo, a netizen left a comment that stayed with me. Allow me to read it for you. Everyone in those glitzy, high society circles knew exactly who he was. Yet, in the end, the ones who actually had the courage to speak up for him were the small-time market vendors, the 9-to-5 workers, and the mothers busy shuttling their kids back and forth from school. This is the cold, hard reality. The big-name stars who once toasted and drank by his side have now fallen dead silent. Instead, it is us, the ordinary people who never even knew him personally, who feel this profound sense of grief on his behalf. Actress Zhang Yiyi, who co-starred with Yu Menglong in Parasite, mentioned Ma Tianyu on Weibo without so much as a whisper about Yu Menglong himself. Netizens suspect she's well aware of his situation and is intentionally keeping her distance for her own safety. But the public is done staying quiet. The collective mindset has shifted. One netizen put it bluntly, "As long as I choose not to care, anything goes. But the moment I decide to flip the table, I'm going for blood. Even if it costs me 1,000 to take down 800 of them, I'll do it for Yu Menglong. I can handle a loss, but I won't handle it in silence. If a conflict can't be resolved, then bring it into the light. Even if justice isn't served in the end, I'll make sure everyone watching knows I am not someone to be trifled with. If the water in the bowl won't be shared fairly, then I'll smash the bowl and spill it all. Being patient only makes them push harder. Stepping back only makes them bolder. Since someone is going to hate me no matter what I do, I might as well give them a real reason to. If you're brave enough to play dirty, then I'm brave enough to burn the ships and go all in." And yet another netizen added,
不是我们在为他而坚持，是他在为我们而战斗呀，是我们在为我们不彻底沦为鱼肉而战斗呀，因为他什么都没有错，清白、干净、善良、正直，却没有一个好下场。你告诉我，我该怎么沉默？
This fury is real. The moment the comment section on Yu Menglong's Douyin account was reopened, the influx of messages skyrocketed to 460,000. Even after they were purged down to 410,000, netizens stood their ground, declaring, "Go ahead and delete them, the more you erase, the harder it is for us to forget." In a beautiful display of solidarity, fans in Taiwan even organized a voluntary online concert on Christmas Day 2025, fulfilling his wish for a world filled with music, love, and light. Once the concert drew to a close, they even held a celebration, preparing his favorite, a steaming pot of spicy mala hot pot. This kind of love, coming from the common people, is something that the sheer force of capital and the dark hands behind the scenes will never understand, let alone erase. From the meticulously planned route of his death tour and the mystery of the 1.8 billion yuan in unpaid wages, to Jackson Wang's heart-stopping, drowning performance, all the clues seem to point toward one massive, brutal truth. This entertainment industry is just like the water tank in Jackson's show. From the outside, it looks crystal clear and calm. But inside, a deadly vortex is hidden from view. Yu Menglong may not have managed to swim out, but what happened to him has shattered the glass of that tank, finally letting the light in. Thank you, everyone. We don't know exactly when the empires built by people like Tian Hairong will truly fall, nor do we know when people like Xin Qi will finally face legal justice. But one thing is certain, as long as we refuse to forget, the truth cannot stay buried. is greater than. As one netizen so powerfully put it, I can handle a loss, but I won't handle it in silence. If a conflict can't be resolved, then drag it into the light of the public eye. That's all for today's video. Regarding the map of this tour or the metaphors within Jackson Wang's performance, what are your thoughts? How many more hidden rules do you think are lurking beneath the surface of the industry? Please leave your opinions in the comments. They matter more than you know. And if you stand for the truth, please like this video and share it so we can expose the details that have been hidden for far too long. And if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.